It's light right in my glasses, isn't it? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News. And where we talk about headlines and not necessarily in depth news coverage, not necessarily in depth analysis, not necessarily even focusing on the stuff on the story itself, just bringing up and talking about whatever happens to come up for us based on the story, the headline. Hey, Brother Danubian, how are you? The story, the headline, what we've read, what we've heard, just kind of not looking so much at the trees, but the forest, the big picture. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, so let us jump right in to, hey, I see. Good afternoon, sis. And, um, oh, Endarkenment. We're going to endarkenment.com. Endarkenment. I guess I should have gone to endarkenment.com. I guess endarkenment probably means something. Endarkenment. As a contrived opposite of enlightenment. Okay, let's go to endarkenment.com and see what the Kwanzaa principle is going to be. It's been such a long time. I don't even remember what we talked about the last time that we were here. But you know what's on my mind right now is Kujichagulia. So I'm going to just jump right to the essay on Kujichagulia and read from that because that's just what I'm feeling. So that's what we gonna do. So the symbols, the focus, the seven principles of Kwanzaa, the seven principles. So today, the second principle is Kujichagulia, self-determination. Again, I'm reading essays from endarkenment.com, just a paragraph today. But usually when we're in a rhythm, we have focused on one, we've gone through consecutively through the principles. Um, okay, so here we go. Ooh, because I've been thinking about being unapologetically pro-Black, unapologetically myself, in the ways in which I might feel a little hesitant to be who I am, and the ways in which I might feel a little hesitant to be a Black person who deals with Black spiritual systems, is interested in Black spiritual systems, who's a metaphysician. So yeah, let's talk about this. Let's read this. The first act of a free people is to shape its world in its own image and interests. So, how are we shaping the world in our image and in our interests? Does your personal world, is it shaped in your image and in your interests? When you look around your space, is it reflecting your image and your interests? The things that you read, the things that you watch, the things that you do, the things that you buy, are they reflecting your image and your interests? Okay. And it is a statement about their conception of self and their commitment to self determination. That's from Frantz Fanon. Fanon has said each person must ask him or herself three basic questions. One, who am I? Two, who am I really who I say I am? And three, am I all that I ought to be? Who am I? And am I really what I say? Am I really who I say that I am? Am I in integrity? Am I in wholeness? Am I who I say that I am? Right, don't remember either. And then, am I all that I ought to be? Am I being my most full self? Am I being my most fabulous self? Am I shrinking myself um, to be less than who I am? Am I all that I ought to be? Are you all that you ought to be? Are we all that we ought to be? Who ought we to be? And who's to determine that other than us? Um, and then how can we get more in alignment with being who we say we are? Who do we say we are? And how can we continue to become more and more in alignment with who we say we are. And then who are we? Who are we? Who are we? Who are you? Who are you? All right. So that's from Endarkment.com. Kuji Chagalia. I just love that word. I don't know why. It's just like the way that it sounds to my ears, the way that it feels in my mouth. Kuji Chagalia. It just, I don't know. I just, Kuji Chagalia. 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 Oh, I got a little stuck there, but okay. So yeah, Kuji Chagalia. Kuji Chagalia. Kuji Chagalia. Kuji Chagalia. Let's see what the Buddha is saying. I don't see anything from the Buddha. I think that they've been becoming less and less frequent. Do you think it's because I've been reading from them less and less? Because I don't see any. I'm like back on the next. Oh, here it is. I'm back on yesterday. I love how it sounds. Kuji Chakalia. Kuji Chakalia. I know. I love how it sounds. Okay. Daily Words of the Buddha for August 29, 2019. That's today. For a while, we were like, oh, you know what? I think they must come out late in the day now. So I used to do it early in the day and we'd be off. Daily Words of the Buddha. And this segment is also known as What Up, Though, Buddha? I like the way Buddha sounds too. Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Okay. Little though one recites the sacred text, but puts the teaching into practice, forsaking lust, hatred, and delusion with true wisdom and emancipated mind, clinging to nothing of this or any other world, one indeed partakes in the blessings of a holy life. Little though one recites the holy text. Hey, is Ray here? Who is it, Bella? Bella's standing at the front door. She's smelling. Ayapo. Is somebody at the front door? The first Buddha I remember is the Buddha Records, Gladys Knight and the Pips. I don't know nothing about Buddha Records. Excuse me, I'm right by the front door. What is it? Some mail? Oh, something from the. Mm, mm, Okay, let me stop being silly. Little though one recites the sacred text, you can recite the sacred text as much as you want, but if you don't put the teachings into practice, if you don't forsake lust, hatred, and delusion with the true wisdom and an emancipated mind, I love emancipated mind. Is that because I'm Black? Emancipation Proclamation, Black American. I got a special emancipated. I got a special love for that. Okay, emancipated mind. Clinging to nothing of this and any other world. Are you attached to things? Because when you're attached to stuff and you cling to stuff, it's like it's not a position of strength. When you're grasping and holding on, it's not a position of strength. You want things to kind of flow in and flow out, flow through. Just because when you grasp and you got what you got in your hand, that's all you gonna get. You not. It's like holding your breath. You got to breathe, and that's how things are. Things come and things go, like your breath. That's how I'm thinking about it. When you do all of those things, you partake in the blessings of a holy life. All right, so let's jump. Let us proceed with the notes on the news feed. Let's jump right in back into the news, or jump into the news. Oh, I had said since I wasn't recording on my tablet, I was going to use my tablet to read the news on. So let's go into that. So, what's new and good with you? What's exciting in your personal life? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. What's exciting in your family? What's going on exciting in your community, in your world? They went to Buddha and recorded Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me and The Midnight Train to Georgia and all the good music from Claudine, all that good music from Claudine. Is Claudine a movie? Because I've never seen Claudine. I don't know nothing about no Claudine. It might be tickling someplace in the very, very back of my mind. And is Buddha like a recording studio? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, you have to educate me. At the same time that you're sharing the good news from your community, your neighborhood, your family, yourself, drop the good news in the comments. Share them. The good news is for all of us. We need the good news. Okay, so let's jump to the first story, which is going to be the last story, because you know it's like in reverse chronological order. Or is it? Or is it? I guess I could do it any way I want on this tablet. I'll keep doing it the way I've been doing it because that's just what I'm used to. Okay. Plex will stream free ad-supported Warner Brother movies and TV shows. I don't know why I pulled that down. It was something I was thinking about when I pulled it down. I don't remember what it was now. How to pay for things securely. That story is coming off of Engadget.com, and they're kind of talking about the fact that in this digital world, we're basically a cashless society. So how are you secure? I'm kind of like, how do you pay for things securely? I don't really believe you can be secure. I guess like back in the day, when you had things in your wallet, in your hand, when you had money, and people could just snatch it from you or be like, "Give me all your money." I guess that they can just continue to rob you now. Like, so I get, like, I feel like, is there security? How can you be secure? One of the things that I do, just because of my personality, is that I don't really like use my card very often. I used to only use it like at two vendors, and that's it, nobody else. But I've kind of loosened up here recently. But I've never had my identity stolen. Have you ever had your identity stolen? I'm like very like, I don't know. So that's kind of like what I do in terms of security. But I don't even really think that's secure. I think it probably minimizes my exposure because I don't have that much of a financial digital footprint. But yes, Claudine is a 1974 movie starring Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones about a woman on welfare who hides all her stuff her boyfriend buys for her family. Also, the man is supporting, adding value, and she had to hide it from the man. The man and the man. Hmm. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, I might have to check that movie out. I haven't seen that before. So yeah, I don't believe in paying for things. I don't know. I don't really believe in the concept of security. Yeah. I mean, I think that you can be more secure, but yeah. But that's on Engadget.com if you want to check that out. American Airlines dubs black first class passenger confrontational for refusing to give up his seat. Now, one thing that I think is interesting about the headline is that it says American Airlines dubs. So did they put like something in his permanent record? So when he goes to make to book a flight, is it going to say confrontational? Like, is that like what it means for a corporation to W? And then even for someone, for it to be put in his permanent record, it has to be put in there by a person. So I feel like it's not American Airlines that's dubbing him, it's employees, but these corporations are made up of people. But I just thought that that's interesting. Um, so I guess I don't know. Whenever I've flown, I've always had like assigned seats, and so I'm not really sure why he was. I didn't read the article. This article is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I'm excited about having my own business by years in. I'm excited about potentially having my own business by year's end. I think that word potential is interesting. I love the concept of you having your own business by year's end. I can see it. The seed is planted. That's the potential. It's being nourished and watered. And I guess it's in the dark now because you're still saying potential. But we see it getting all that it needs to do what it needs to do under the ground so that it can blossom and grow and thrive above ground, and also like create deep, strong, solid roots that make it like a strong business that's a blessing to you, your family, and your community and Black people worldwide. Yes. So we see that. That's exciting. That's exciting. I'm excited too. I love business people. I come from people who are business people. Do you come from people who are business people? How many people in this? How many people have like? Are your parents small business people? Do they have side hustles? I consider side hustles businesses. Do they have side hustles? Do you have side hustles? Have you always had a side hustle? When my brother was in high school, he came to me, and this is before he could drive, and he had me take him to the Sam's Club so that he could buy candy bars and maybe chips, but I think it was candy bars, and he would put them in his backpack and he would sell them. So he bought them for 25 cents and he sold them for $1. I don't really know what it, I got the concept of his business plan, but I didn't really get into it. But we come from people, my auntie has a cake business, my daddy has a physical business. I mean, it's just like my granddaddy had a business in Black Bottom in Detroit. I wish, yeah, we wish, we see it, we claim it, we believe it, we're taking actions that are in alignment with our visions. Make you a vision poster, make you a vision board. Even if you don't pull things out from a magazine, if you pull things out from a magazine and put them on the board to represent that vision coming, how it's going to feel, what images kind of like speak to you in relation to that vision, do that. Use words. Just, yeah, why not? Why wish? Why wish when you can have? Okay, I'm finished harassing you. Um, I'm all over the place. Okay. Oh, this is directions for something. I don't know what happened here. Okay. Okay, here we are. For a second, I thought I had deleted the whole stream. So how to pay for? Oh, so American Airlines dubs. So this is a first class passenger. We don't. I mean, as Black folks, do we have a airline that we could fly instead of American Airlines? Excuse me, United Airlines, Delta Airlines, whatever these companies are, what's our alternative? If I want to get from point A to point B, what Black business am I going to use to get from point A to point B? What Black businesses do I have to choose from to fly from, from here to there? I mean, I'm just curious because I don't think there are any. So anyway, he's in this. I wish for my parents. Oh, I wish they had side hustles. Wow, Black Bottom is where God showed up in 1939. I was listening to some Malcolm X stuff yesterday, and somebody was like, "Well, what's your father's name?" And Malcolm is like, "Well, I'm not going to say the name." And so anyway, they were like Elijah so and so, who's really Elijah Poole, or I don't know. It's just like all this hostility toward the people. But anyway, yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, the pool. The wishes for my parents. I wish they had side hustles. Well, you'll be starting that legacy and sharing that legacy forward and outward. So down in time to your children and your nieces and nephews and that generation and across time to all of us. Yeah, the slave name. He like, I'm not telling you, won't even tell me. I was working, so I had it in my ear, so I couldn't see. It doesn't really matter who the person was. But he like, no, that's irrelevant. It don't mean what does that mean to me? And why was he so pressed? I was like, why is he so pressed? And then the little news piece, I'm like, why are they so pressed to say Elijah Poole or whatever? I can't even, from Arkansas. I'm like, why are you pressed? What's really going on? So yeah, side hustles, businesses, side hustles, putting that in your blood, putting that in there. So yeah, we don't have any airlines to fly. We don't have an alternative. So this is a person who has some resources, I would guess, because they're flying first class. As much as I've flown, I've never flown first class. As much as I traveled, I have only traveled. Well, when I was in India, I did travel. I think I traveled second class, not first class. And one time in this country, I took a train first class. I've never flown first class. And, so I'm thinking this is a person who has some resources. I haven't, again, this is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Why are they asking him to give up his seat? All the times that I've flown, you have assigned seats. So why are you asking me to give up my seat? I don't understand. And it's confrontational because he asked the question and he didn't say, yes, sir, master. Oh, yes, right away. I have to get up and move. Is that the confrontational part? What's the confrontational part? The enemy loves for us to acknowledge their names attached to us, but Malcolm X wasn't having it. Yeah. It reminded me kind of that scene in Roots where it's like, what's your name? He like, Kunta Kinte. And they like, no, your name is whatever. And he like, no, it's Kunta Kinte. And it's like this big old fight. I'm like, Coogee Chagalia. naming yourself, determining yourself. I didn't even read what the principle was. Us naming ourselves, us determining who we are for ourselves, us defining ourselves. And each person has the right to do that. I always notice, like, so far in my life, everybody that I've had every man that I've been seriously involved with has had a name change. And it's interesting to see how people react to those name changes. Some people refuse to acknowledge it. They like, I'm going to call you what your mama called you. And I don't care. And I'm not going to go anywhere else with you. You don't have the right to change your name as far as I'm concerned. It's just like a really interesting dynamic to me. But hold on, let me just look up Coochie Chagalia. I'm gonna get that going on this side burner while I keep going on the other Coochie Chagalia. Okay. Um, so again, Atlanta Black Star, if you want to read more about that story, I don't SSDD. That's the thing. Um, Happy Birthday, Michael Jackson. 5 songs you didn't know were penned by the King of Pop. Is it Michael Jackson's birthday today? This is August 29th. So are we like in Leo season? Is he a Leo? I think he's a Leo. Was he a Leo? And what do you think? How long has it been since Michael Jackson made his transition? Looking back now that he's made his transition, here recently we've been hearing again about the molestation, thinking about his legacy and what he's left behind. What do you remember about Michael Jackson? What do you think about Michael Jackson? I don't know. Like, is his, do you ever sit down and listen to his music anymore? Is it like someone who's kind of come and go? What's up for us on Michael Jackson's birthday? And then it's kind of like, I feel like in his way, Michael Jackson was trying to be like, I'm like the man in the mirror and they don't care about us. It seems like some of his songs seem to like he was trying to have some consciousness, but he seemed like such a damaged person. And I think so many of us are damaged. I don't think he's isolated in that or unusual in that way. I think the more prominent you are, kind of the more obvious some of our damage is, and the more people can kind of like pick apart that damage. So is I guess it's Michael Jackson's birthday. This is coming off of Atlanta Black Star, the headline. I have not read the story. I think that it's interesting when you hear about songs that artists wrote that other people sing that you might know the other people for. Like, because some of these songs are written by people who are not just songwriters who are kind of anonymous, but they're written by like Michael Jackson or Prince. And then they're sung by like famous, prominent people too. And it's sort of like when worlds collide in a way. So I didn't really look at the 5 songs because I didn't really care that much. But you might care, Atlanta Black Star. We're not a broke country. Congresswoman Jackson alleviates concerns about who's responsible for slavery reparations. So the thing that kind of caught my attention, I don't know who Congresswoman Jackson is. I think that she's a black woman though. And the thing that kind of caught my attention is that she said, we're not a broke country. America, we got money. And I try to like be conscious of as much as I can because I think you can kind of slip in and out of it. Like I use we, like if I'm talking about like, we all got issues. We got issues as human beings. I try to say we and include myself, not like we all got issues or those people over there. Because it's like, well, I want to acknowledge that, I'm not perfect either. So I try to use that when I'm talking about black people, when I'm like, back in the day when we were enslaved, I'll say when we were enslaved. I don't say when there were slaves, when there were people who were enslaved, they used to treat them like this. I say they used to treat us like this. I try to put that in my consciousness that that's me and that they're me and I'm them, that we're connected, we're one and the same. But when I travel or in certain contexts, like if I'm talking like to someone, I might be like, well, we Americans, blah, 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 because I feel like there is a way in which I am complicit in this system and I haven't figured out how to untie myself from it. So things like cell phones, things like shoes and clothes that come from, other countries cheaply made, things like fruits and vegetables that I like to buy relatively cheaply and eat. They're on the backs of other people. I get them relatively cheaply because other people are exploited. And so I know that as someone who lives in this country, that, I am kind of a part of it, even though, I don't necessarily want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of the evil. I don't want to be a part of perpetuating the evil. I don't want to be a part of benefiting from the evil. But it's like I just haven't. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm really still. But when she says we're not a broke country, it makes me kind of feel. And when I read this, it made me feel bad because I feel like this is someone who's in Congress. I'm thinking that she's a U.S. Congresswoman. They didn't say U.S., but they said Congresswoman. But even if she's not, like, even if she's in her state Congress or whatever, I feel like she's invested in the system in a certain way. And I think on some level, we are all invested in the system. And it kind of makes me sad because I feel like we're here for the system, but this system is not here for us. So, we're not a broke country. Congressman Jackson alleviates concerns about who's responsible for slavery reparations. This whole reparation conversation, it's like a whole big conversation to me in a way. Like, I guess just like I never ever thought, like when Obama was running for office back in the day, and I'm not trying to say this to say that this is like the be all to end all, but I never thought that Obama would get elected. I just never ever thought that Obama would get elected. I was surprised when he was elected. I never think that this country is going to pay monetary reparations to Black people. That doesn't mean it won't happen, because lots of things that I don't think are going to happen do happen, but I don't think that's going to happen. And then on top of that, I have an attitude because I kind of feel like you're going to jack me up and do some foul skit to me and then give me some money and feel like you've repaired the situation. I feel like even if you give me money, even if you give us money, I just have an attitude about the whole thing. I just feel like your behind is not sorry. You're not apologetic. Like giving, like I just the whole reparations thing is just like, and I know I have this thing where it's like, don't say sorry to me, just don't do the skit in the first place. I really don't have like a big appreciation for sorry. We all make mistakes and people have to say sorry sometimes. And that's not exactly what I'm getting at. But I feel like when you're not sorry and you say sorry, or you're not sorry and you don't say sorry and you throw, like, just the whole thing, I'm just like, I'm not a, the whole reparations thing is like a thing for me. And I'm not like, I know other people are like, well, money is better than no money. And I just kind of like when I hear these stories about people like their son got killed and then they get $100,000, I'm kind of like, okay. Or if they get $1 million, I'm kind of like, okay, does that bring their son back? Does that, like, I actually looked up the monologue when I was a child. My go-to monologue as a child was "Sorry" from Ntozake Shango, who just made her transition here recently. She was a graduate of Myra College I went to, and she wrote a choreo poem called "For Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Was Enough." It's been made into a movie, but before it was made into a movie, all growing up, I saw it produced in various places. But anyway, the monologue "Sorry" from there used to be my go-to monologue. And we were talking the other day, and I looked it up. But I know it. I basically know it. One thing I don't need is any more apologies. Sorry, I got sorry. Greet me at my front doorstep. You can keep yours. I don't know what to do with it. They don't bring the sun back or make me happy. Like, I just feel like I'm not, and maybe that just like really set my attitude as a young woman. But I'm not here for sorry. I'm not here for refer. I mean, I'm not turning down any money, but I just kind of like the whole thing is bogus to me. It's fake. It's insincere. I don't trust it. Like, I think that's what it's like. I don't trust this country. Like I just like I feel like the whole thing is like, yeah, I think that's it. It's bogus. It's fake. It's insincere, and I don't trust it. Like, I feel like it's some bullshit. It's not about anything real. So I'm not even like invested in it in that way. I just the whole but anyway, that story, we're not a broke country. Congresswoman Jackson is on Atlanta Black Star. Are Black media companies being blocked from businesses? This is coming off of thegrio.com. Are Black media companies being blocked from business? The headline gave me an attitude because it's a Black media outlet. I feel like our headlines need to be better. I feel like our headlines need to be another example of Black folks being blocked from business. In this case, it's media companies. I feel like even asking the question as Black people, as Black media, who have like, and I feel like I do hold the media to a different standard than people. I feel like you should have done your research, and maybe they're just using the headline to draw people in who haven't done the research, so they can boom, bop, boom, educate them. But the whole headline just gets on my nerves. I'm like, are Black media companies being blocked from business? Yeah. Why is that even a question? So that's coming off of the Griot. If you want to check that out, I think it has to do with the guy who owns the weather station, the Weather Channel, who's married to a white woman who I think he's suing one of the cable companies, or there's something going on with him in terms of like some legal stuff going on with him. I think that's what this story is about. But again, I only read the headline. New study prompts questions about diabetes and obesity within Black churches. This story is also coming off the Griot. I thought that was really interesting because when I think of my experience growing up in church, there are a lot of food. There is a lot of food associated with it. The church that I used to go to, the big church, which wasn't this was before mega churches, but it was like this is the biggest church I had ever been to. We had an overflow parlor, we had a balcony. But anyway, we would have in the morning, like in between morning service and the early service and the 11 o'clock service, there would be breakfast served. It would be grits, eggs, fried fish, sausage, pancakes, and you could buy it for like $3, $5, something like that. But like none of that, like I don't remember anything like wholesome, anything live, anything, like I don't remember any fruit, not even fruit cocktail. I don't remember any smoothies. I don't remember any, and smoothies were a thing. I grew up with smoothies from like 7, 8, 9, so I remember smoothies. I just don't remember anything healthy. I think about churches when I think about the repast after a funeral, and you go downstairs in the church, and the mothers and the sisters and of the church have prepared a meal for the family, and it's gonna be soul food type food. And I don't think for the most part it's sort of like, even though I love overcooked string beans, it's gonna be overcooked string beans. It's gonna be mashed potatoes. It's gonna be fried chicken. It's gonna be cake. It's gonna like a whole on a table or a couple tables. It's gonna be like a whole bunch of different kinds of cakes cut up on paper on plates that are like individual size or pies, but usually cakes. Um, what else when I think of Black churches? It just seems like whenever I think of like the churches that I grew up in, there's like almost always food associated with it, but nothing healthy or wholesome. Delicious maybe, but not healthy or wholesome. So I feel like is the Black church associated with new study prompts questions about diabetes and obesity within Black churches. I guess yeah, I'm kind of like okay. I mean, I guess we can ask the question. That's coming off of the Griot. Lizzo wants us to stop calling her brave for loving her body. She's basically like, just like when someone is like, I was listening to Martin Luther King speak. He was giving a speech to young people who were graduating from high school. And he was like, you're Black, but love yourself. Say to yourself, I'm Black, but I'm wonderful. That's not an exact quote. But I was kind of fascinated by like his construction. It wasn't like I'm Black and I'm wonderful. It's like I'm Black, but I'm wonderful. Yay. Like being Black was bad. Even though he was trying to like big up being Black, it was kind of like I had to give him like the side mouth. Um, hey, Sonya sees, leave our soul food alone. Yeah, we need soul food that's good for the soul, as in good for the body, as in good for the community, as in, and we have that soul food. That's part of our tradition. We have to expand our, like, I feel like it's okay to indulge in certain things on occasion, but we have to continue. We have to elevate our eating. We have to take care of ourselves because we need one another, and we need one another healthy and strong. We need one another strong, fit, and healthy. That's how I feel. So I feel like we have to drink water. We have to move our bodies. We have to eat something raw every day. We have to eat something green every day. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to, we have to reach back before our enslavement and the foods that are a part of this legacy as, our enslavement in this country. We have to reach back a little bit further, or we have to reach forward. Like we have to. Yes, I remember field peas and okra. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know, where is Ayapo in the chat? Okra is, I don't like okra, but okra is really good for you. When we were growing up, even like I feel like even in my memory, it's people having gardens, people growing food. Like we have to, but anyway, yeah, and I feel like if we're if our churches that are supposed to be about nourishing our souls are killing our bodies. I mean, and I feel like that's a whole conversation too about what our churches are actually doing. Are they nourishing our souls? Are they nourishing our spirits? Like we need to expect more and ask more. Back in the country down south before we became urban, I hated shucking corn and snapping peas. They forced me to drink buttermilk. Yuck. Oh, I never had buttermilk, but I was just thinking today or last night about snap peas, like when you make string beans and you break the ends off. Because here recently, like for the last 3 or 4 years, I don't know why, but I have become obsessed with baking frozen string beans. Just it's an obsession. But I used to love to make me some like string beans. I don't think I could cook like frozen string beans like I just throw them in the oven. I don't like cook them. But yeah, so that's that story. It's a new question that's prompting questions. A new study prompts questions about diabetes and obesity within the Black church. Lizzo wants us to stop calling her brave for loving her body. So Lizzo is like a bigger, full figure, whatever. I don't know. Like she just had a body that she had, and people are like, "You're so brave to love yourself." And I'm like, why does she have to be brave to love herself? Like I understand what she's saying. Like it is kind of offensive. So anyway, that story is coming off the Griot as well. Wow, 3 stories in a row from Griot. DARPA, DARPA, I have no idea what that is. DARPA is seeking giant abandoned tunnels for reasons. That's what the headline says. This is coming off of Engadget.com. So they're like it's like a quick turnaround. They got like an RFP out there, or like, hey, anybody who want to sell land, today is August 25th. Let us know by August. By September 2nd. If it's underground, we want the underground tunnels. If it's man-made, if it goes under city blocks, we're not telling you why we want it, but we just want these tunnels. So they like, what's going on? And I'm like, what's going on? I think it's an interesting what's going on. I never heard Lizzo sing, but feminists love her. Oh, do they? Yeah, I don't know. I like Lizzo. Now I heard about her before. I probably heard about her after she was famous in some circles because I was hearing about her from a bunch of black people. But before she was like famous the way that she is famous now. And I liked her because she's like, if your man don't want you, walk your fine butt out the door. Like I like I like songs and I like stuff that's like energizing, like uplifting. Like there is a time to be like, oh, hoo hoo, my man don't want me, and oh, hoo hoo, I'm so sad. I understand that there's a time for that, but then there's also a time for I'm moving on. So I just and like it was like her whole like it was like a little bop. It's a bop. That's what I think they call it. It's like a bop. It was like yes. So I just kind of was like, oh, that's scary to me being underground. Where's the fresh air? Um, yeah. So and I don't like her whole like I saw a little clip of her performance and she had a big balloon butt like behind her like a 20-foot balloon that was like a butt with I was kind of like now this concept I don't understand but yeah like I didn't really understand that but most of her stuff it seemed like to me from what I can tell. I don't study her deeply, but just casually, I haven't been offended by her. She likes to show her behind a lot. But then the little performance that I saw, I feel like I did appreciate that there were like all different colors of black women. Most, I don't know if there were any white women performing with her, but there were like dark skinned women, light skinned women, brown skinned women. There was a mix and a mix of sizes. So she always, or all of the stuff that I've seen of her, she'll have like women who are like not a size 4, not a size 8, like big full, like bigger women. And I feel like it's good because people come in all different sizes and shapes. And to me, it gets kind of tiring always seeing the same thing basically over and over and over again. Like it's like in the world, you don't see the same thing over and over again. So I like to see not as big as K Michelle though, right? I don't know about K. I've never. Oh, about 4 or 5 years ago, I did watch some K Michelle videos because I was watching those a reality show she was on, and I was like, what is her music? Her music, it wasn't for me from what I could tell. Some of the imagery in her videos I thought was interesting. Um, why do we have to have white dancers at all? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know if she even has white dancers. But I think people be trying to be inclusive, but I don't know. Because if it was my thing, I would never have any white dancers in my books. I don't think I ever have any white characters or white people. Like, like I feel like in the worlds that I create, like I feel like I'm so like it's such an abundance of white people in the world, and like I feel like I have enough of that. Like I'm just like, it's like, who are the black people? What are the black people doing? What are the black people feeling? What are the black people thinking? Like that's what I'm like. So I got an abundance of like white folks. Kate, her butt was unnatural. I never listened to her songs though. Yeah, that child got that butt put in and she got the butt took out. You about to leave? She got that big old butt and it was unnatural, and it maybe if it was like naturally her butt it would have been flattering, but since it wasn't her butt, I'm ignoring you. Since it wasn't her butt, Bella is, and she's watching you. She's like, what is he doing standing up against the wall? Since it wasn't her butt, I don't know. Yeah, that's just a mess. Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Yeah, and I think that whole like create for ourselves is important. Toni Morrison just made her transition, and it's like two things that she said that I think about a lot. Like she's like the invisible man. I think that's Ralph Ellison. I probably said this the last time we were together. I'm still thinking about it. She like invisible to who? Because I feel like I've seen every black man I've seen. Black men are invisible to me. I'm a black person. So like, is this book Invisible Man to white people? Like, I've never read the book, so I don't even, but I just thought that it's like a lot of times I think as artists, we get in the habit. Did you just pour this for me? Thank you. We get in the habit as artists and as people in this country, we get in the habit of making these culture vultures. Um, we get in the habit of like always directing everything to white people, like all of our energy, all of our thoughts, all of our explanation, all of our conversations. Like, let's talk to us about us for us. Let's create for us. And then the other thing that she said that was like these aren't direct quotes, but like some white person will say to you, black people have never done anything, and then you spend your whole professional career explaining to that white person that black people have done something. And I think that we like this. There's a design in place for us to use our energy, give our energy, devote our energy, focus our energy on them instead of on us. Like, because we need it. We need it. We need it. What's in this big jar? This water. I think I might have had some ginger ale. It was like a real, like something I got from Whole Foods that I paid too much money for, although it was very gingery. It was good, but I had gotten like 2 bottles like 2 months ago, and I finally finished one. But usually it's just water. I don't drink nothing. Stop white splaining. It's a trick, right? It's yeah. So Yeah. Okay, so that's Lizzo. We talked about DARPA. Somebody knows something. Somebody knows something. Georgia teen walks to store and never returns home. This story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star .com. So the little boy, he's like 16, 15, like not like a little boy, but he went to the store and he's disappeared. And a lot. I mean, I don't. I wanted to pull up an image of them. Let me see if I can. Georgia teen disappears. But I mean, I feel like it's so many of us who disappear. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like every time you turn around, somebody's disappeared, and that's just who you happen to hear about. Um, Disappears. But yeah, somebody does know something. Where he at? Who saw him? Who saw him last? What's going on? Somebody knows something. Body of missing pregnant Georgia teen is found in the woods. Missing these this when I googled it, this is what's come up. That was August 16. People. That's probably a white person. Missing Georgia teen found alive 2 years after disappearance. That was in 2018. Missing 17-year-old. Oh, here it is. Missing 17-year-old Georgia teen hasn't been seen since earlier this month. Oh no, this isn't her. This is this is a white girl, I'm thinking. Black hair and brown eyes. That's probably a white girl. Isn't that something? I shouldn't be surprised that I can't find the little boy in here that I was trying to find for y'all. But because I wanted to pull up his image, and I might try to pull it up from here. Um, I'm gonna try to pull it up from here, and hopefully it won't create too much drama for me coming back. Um, Here it is. Oh, I went through all of that. And y'all can't even see him because of the way the lighting is. He's like an unambiguously black looking black boy. He's got a thick nose. He's got a cute smile, nice teeth. He looks chocolate. But check out the story. Keep your eyes open. Prayers out to him and his family. Um, And I know that's something, like somebody knows something. Where's my family? Where's my people? Where's this child? He probably, how many times has he gone to the store and come back? Nobody knows anything. The missing black and native girls, sex trafficking, organ harvesting, slaves in bondage. I like ginger ale, good for the pre and post menses. Yeah, menses. Um, so actually, when I read that story, the first thing I thought is that he was enslaved. He had been taken for like in regard like as a sex slave. I don't know why I thought that. That's what I thought about him. I think a lot about because I think in the context of our enslavement, we talk about black women being raped, but I think a lot about black men and boys being raped. And, I'm sort of curious why that's not discussed more. I don't know if it's just like the shame in the culture and that we don't talk about stuff like that, but it's like you never even see hints of it. And it's like, I just can't seem to make my mind think that it wasn't happening. But that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Somebody knows something. Georgia teen walks the store and never returns home. So go ahead and take a pic, take a peek at that so you can put that image in your head in case you see, that child. And it also made me think about when we were out of town before, they were advertising. You remember the Atlanta child murders? They were advertising that they had done some movie show crime scene investigation type piece on that. And I was really we were really curious to see it, but the timing, we didn't get to see it when we were away. And I wanted to kind of like look it up, but this made me think of that. Um, Quick quote. T.I. defends white anchor's offensive guerrilla commentary. So y'all heard this story. It's within the last couple of days. The black male anchor and the white female are doing a piece on a zoo or something like that. At the end of the piece, the white woman says that gorilla looks kind of like you. And then the next thing we know is we have this footage of her. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hurt you and I hurt other people. And then the black man is like, hey, it's cool. I forgive you, whatever. But we got to do better, whatever. And he's like a black man, like unambiguously black. And so light skinned Ti, on his Instagram, he said, well, I read his Instagram. It was only a line, but he said something like, "Cuz does kind of look like the gorilla. Go on and forgive her. Cuz does kind of look like the gorilla." That's how I read it. I'm kind of like, wow. And then I guess I just think of like, I don't like I always get like this grungy feeling off of him. Even when he's supposed to be doing something for black people, he kind of like he's grungy to me. He's like a misogynist, a butthole. I don't really know how to explain it. He not really for me. I don't know him personally, but it's like this vibe I get off of him, and this fits in with it. And I'm like looking at him and his family. Like if you look at just on the TV, the way they look, it's like they're all like light skinned. They're all like kind of like in the same color grade. One of his children is so light that the little boy thought that he was white. He didn't think he was black. He has this wife who went and got her eyes changed permanently from brown to blue or whatever. Like it just seemed like that's part of his value system. Like the beige supremacy is part of the white supremacy. He seemed like he definitely down with the beige supremacy. Again, I don't know him, but what grown black person says that a black person looks like a gorilla? Sorta, kinda. Ti, he's he lives in Atlanta. He had like a TV show on VH1. He's like an actor, a rapper. I think he might have been in this movie called Atlanta. He's in some big franchise, maybe the Fast and Furious, like one of these big Hollywood things where he's done several movies, but like kind of smaller roles in different movies. Maybe Atlanta. I think I might have said that the movie or something. I don't know. He's a rapper. I think that's like his main claim to fame, although I don't necessarily know his work, but like it seemed like one of his songs was like, I only date tens. If she ain't, he just seemed like he ain't about skit to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He probably is about something in his heart and soul because everybody is, but he just like, he is not for me. He's just, so anyway, I just, he's problematic. His wife got her eyes blue in South Africa, of all places. She's mulatto. Yes, she is. Her mom is white, and her dad was a dark skinned soul singer. I don't know if her dad is still alive or not. We were having this conversation, and I don't know. I don't know a lot of people who are mixed, so I don't have a strong opinion about it. I haven't been around a lot of people who are mixed that I'm aware of. But someone had said, some people had asserted that they can tell the difference for the most part between mixed people who have been raised by black women versus mixed with people who have been raised by white women. Like if they have a white mama, they like the worst. If they have a black mama, they maybe have some kind of consciousness. But when I heard it, it kind of made sense to me. But I don't have a big repertoire to draw from. So anyway, when an ugly mulatto, she was the ugliest one in the group, yet she got the most attention. Wonder why? In the group Escape, she was in Escape with what's this child on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? But anyway, but when I mentioned it to Ayapo, he was like, "What?" He just didn't even, it didn't register with him at all. So I'm just curious about if other people have had experiences or thoughts about, that, biracials with a black mama versus biracials with a white mama. Um, yeah. All right. So that's coming off of Straight from the A. That thing about Ti. Now, I have come and reported stories or shared headlines where Ti was boycotting this restaurant or that restaurant in Atlanta because they had mistreated this black person or that black person. And those stories kind of always got on my nerves too, because I'm like, shoot, in Atlanta, you don't even, it's enough black businesses, it's enough black restaurants to go to. Why you got to go to the white restaurant and beg them to treat you well? Y'all got plenty of options in Atlanta. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about a single mom. I'm talking about whether the parents are together or not. If it's a biracial child with a black daddy and a white mama, they have a different vibration than a biracial child with a black mama and a white daddy. And some people are saying that if the mama is black American, then the child has a little more consciousness. I don't know. I don't really care. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess when I read it, I was like, that's true, but I never had it. Is supporting Jay Z along with 50 Cent and Diddy. Oh, T.I. is. I think I read that headline, but I just skipped over it because I kind of feel like, is that stuff? What? I mean, does Jay Z need my support or non support? I don't have title. Yeah, I feel like that's rich people problems. I don't know. I just couldn't seem to. Maybe it's something I'm missing, but I'm like, I don't care nothing about no Jay Z, Beyonce's husband. I barely care about Beyonce, let alone her husband, man. The only thing I care about is that it kind of gets on my nerves when people talk about how ugly he is. Because I don't really think he's ugly. I think he looks like a black man. I think he's a good enough looking black man. If I liked him more, he'd probably be better looking. I mean, he ain't, he got a big nose and he got big lips, so he ugly. That kind of gets on my nerves. But like, yeah. Um, there's no logical answer. North Carolina father charged with rape, murder after admitting to killing biracial daughter. So prayers out to the child as she has made and is making her transition. I don't know what kind of miserable, awful life she probably had before that. Hopefully she had some moments of life, light and life and joy. Like it's just like how her father raped and murdered her. How many times has he raped her? I mean, is he accused of it? Did he admit it? I haven't really followed the story. Um, I never saw the Beyonce video Ring the Alarm, Sonya. Um, yeah. Um, there's no logical. Is there ever a logical answer for somebody killing? I don't know. Yeah. So that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I mean, that whole story, that whole everything I heard about it, that was just like disturbing. Like, I don't even think about it. I know people are like, a lot of people are like, see, that's what happens when, you get with white people, you get with white men, they're going to kill your children. But quiet as it's kept, I'm not like a big like upper of this, but there are black men who kill their children. So I mean, I don't even like, I guess when I see the story, I don't necessarily think of it like that. Now, maybe if somebody thinks, oh, white men are perfect and black men are awful, I think, but that's just foolishness and immaturity to me. Although I guess there is like some propaganda out there that, and I guess that's why people are trying to like undo that. Oh, whites kill their kids to get back at their spouse. Yeah, like I don't really know how white people, how they do. I guess I know a little bit, but in terms of like being in a relationship with, I don't really understand that. I don't have a, yeah. Um, reframing history, slavery came to America much sooner than 1619. So this whole New York Times 1619, I follow her on Twitter, Ida Bay Wells project with the New York Times. It's kind of interesting because when she announced that it was going to happen, I was kind of like, wow, it made me wonder what the New York Times was getting out of it. Like, what is their agenda? How are they winning from it? Because I don't think that it's for us. I don't think it's for our edification, education, upliftment. I just, yeah. But I guess this piece is coming off of moguldom.com. And I think that they're basically talking about the fact that they were like enslaved black folks, even in this country. Although 1619, this wasn't a country, but in this country before 1619, because of the Spaniards, they were out here snatching up black folks, enslaving us, brutalizing us all up and down, the Americas. We have picked up a lot of their bad habits after 400 years. It's expected. Yeah. So anyway, that's coming off of moguldom.com. Letter from Nigeria. Letter from Africa. Nigerian anger over South African xenophobia. What did we? Oh, South Africa is where the child went to get her eyes made blue. Um, I've like read one article about this whole thing with Nigeria and South Africa, and it was sort of like Nigeria was expelling South African businesses because I guess a lot of Nigerian students in South Africa are having a hard time. And I'm not really. This is coming off of BBC.co.uk, so I haven't really been following this story at all. I read one article probably about a week ago when I first saw the concept. Making new friends as a grown up. Do you make new friends? Were you always good at making friends? When I was a kid, when I was a young person, I was never good at making friends. I don't really think I developed like the friend making skill. Like I think I'm friendly, but in terms of like how people like close the deal on making friends, that concept kind of eludes me. Basically, all of the friends that I have made friends with me because I don't really know how to make friends with other people. Do you know how to make friends as other people? Was that your specialty as a child? Is that a skill that you develop as a child and then you lose it as an adult? Because I hear a lot of people saying that they have a hard time making friends as an adult. I always thought that it was because I never really learned to make friends. And then somebody told me it's because I don't smoke weed. They say that when you smoke, people who smoke weed bond quicker. I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, I don't know. That story is coming off of MaddieJames.com. I guess that's some blog I have. But I just thought the whole thing of like making friends, I think friends are important. And like I said, as the world becomes more and more digital, we're more and more isolated from real people. Some of us more than others. But one of my this guy I work with was like, yeah, I remember back in the day when I used to get together with my friends and we play video games together. I'm like, that don't even sound social. And he's like, yeah, but now we don't even get together. We might play video games, like me at my place and them at their place. And I'm like, but so I guess it's just gotten worse and worse, even for them. Nigerian immigrants are hated all over the world, unfortunately, especially in Europe. And South Africa is a European country, isn't it? When I read the article or when I saw the headline, I was kind of curious about like the whole like South Africa versus Uganda. Like Nigerians aren't having problems in Uganda are like, I was just like, is it because South Africa is so white controlled? Because most people are not white in South Africa, but it's so white controlled. Even after Mandela set us free. Even after Obama set us free, we still have problems. Even after King set us free, even after who did the man, we've been set free so many times, so we still have problems in this country and apparently in other countries too. But anyway, Raheem Saeed, TV host suspended. Oh, Reham Saeed, TV host suspended over obesity comments. So that was a headline, but then when I clicked it, she was talking specifically about women being fat, and she was like basically like, when you're fat, you can't be feminine, you're not attractive, men aren't gonna like you. That's kind of the impression I got of what she was saying. So I guess she's been problematic, so she done been suspended from her job, and she's like, I'm gonna go home and take care of my children. Like, I think she's like Egyptian or something. She looked pretty white to my eyes. But I guess she's like, I'm gonna go home and take care of my children and stay skinny for my man. That story is coming off of BBC too. But I was kind of surprised that it just said obesity in the headline. It didn't say that she was specifically attacking women. TM30, the forum getting expats in Thailand into a bureaucratic tangle. So basically, whenever like landlords have to let the government know, and this is something I guess that has been sort of kind of on the books, but now it's being enforced. If you have someone you're in Thailand and you have a foreigner, someone from the United States, someone from Europe, someone from China, I don't know, a foreigner living on your property, then if they go away and come for more than a week, you have to let the government know, hey, there's a form you have to fill out. And if you don't do that, then the people have to pay a fine, or there's a fine. They can't, something happens, they get some. So the people who are the expats have been paying the fee or the migrants. I think they're using expat in that context. But um, I was just thinking about, so the main person they focus on in this story is coming off of BBC.com, or the main one I saw was a black woman, and she like, I've been living in Thailand. I think she teaches English, and she is it Thailand? Yeah, Thailand. I've been living in Thailand. I teach English. It's been like a good place to live. It's cheaper than where I was living before, but I think I'm just gonna go back to China because it's simpler. And I was thinking about us, like, it's sort of like, well, we're in this country and we're like, they treat us like boo boo. And then we try to go to other countries so that we could maybe be treated better or have a better life or try to find a better life. And it's like, it just sometimes seems like the whole world, there's like issues, you know? I think I hear something. I'm like, is that me or is it something else all the way in the back in the other room? So it's sort of like, well, don't be going to Thailand, black woman. Stay your behind in. And I knew someone who was in Ghana, and they had like all these issues in Ghana, living and filling out the forms and paying fines, and it's just kind of like, I wish, just like, I wish that we had like a place of our own. Like, I feel like as Black Americans, you know, as Black folks in this country, it's kind of like we're like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to Ghana, or I'm gonna go to Nigeria, or I'm gonna go to South Africa, and maybe we have some heritage from there, but we're not exactly from there, and so then it's kind of like, just like, I guess a lot of times when groups of people move to other countries, then 100 years down the line, 50 years down the line, 200 years down the line, that country is like, you don't belong here, you're an outsider. Now maybe if we moved to Ghana, we would like integrate in with the people, and a generation on, you wouldn't be able to tell us from anybody else, so our children would just be like Ghanaian. I'm not really sure how it works. um but I just feel like it seems like you just go places and it's not your place, it's not your home. Go back to Africa, go back here, go back to the United States, and you like, dang, I wish I just had a place of my own, a home I could go to, so the white expats can continue to f their children with impunity. Oh, you're talking about in Thailand. Yeah, but is that, and so does the form stop them, or that helps them to continue to still in Africa doing what they want, right? And when Idi Amin was like, all the Asians got to get out of Uganda. Was it Uganda that Idi Amin was in? He like, all the Asians got, y'all are parasites, y'all got to go. Now some of them people had been living there for 20 years, 40 years. Their parents had been there, they were born there, and then all of a sudden they're getting thrown out. So I mean, I can understand how that would be like very disorienting. And it's like, maybe you don't have a secure place anywhere in the world, anyone. And so our security has to come from within and from our connections with God, with life, with, whatever. Um, I'm crying. I'm upset. Retired fullback LaRon McClain begs NFL to help with head and cognitive issues. So I guess this is one of these athletes who has traumatic brain injury, and he's reaching out on Twitter for help from the NFL. And I feel like the NFL is not going to help you. The NFL probably knew. I feel like the NFL knows that they're jacking people up, and they don't care that they're jacking people up because they're just making money off of you getting your head banged in. And if you have problems and issues later on, oh well, I don't care. You're not part. Like, it's sad. Like, I feel like he just out here in need, and he not gonna. I don't think he gonna get it from the NFL. I mean, did the right thing though. They were agents of white supremacy. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess they was like, they were like that class, that merchant class, and they just like they are in a lot of times in the Black community. The Asian food restaurants, the Asian hair restaurants, like they come in and they're sucking resources, but they're not part of the community, and there's not like a loop, there's not like a relationship. It's just like they're extracting in the way that white supremacists do, wherever they go around the world. Rethinking compensation in a world where American AI and human intelligence are merging. So the I'm Crying, I'm Upset is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. That's the athlete who was looking for help from the NFL. And then Rethinking Compensation in a World Where AI and Human Intelligence Are Merging is coming off of Moguldom.com. Little boy warms hearts when he comforts autistic boy crying on first day of school. That was a little black boy, I think, comforting a little white boy. When I clicked the article, I couldn't figure out who was the autistic boy. I didn't click this one. It was kind of like a couple, it seemed like it was a couple days ago when I saw it. But I feel like the reason why that story is getting so much traction in my head, at least, is because it was like a little black boy, like doing his proper thing, comforting, giving energy to, paying homage to, supporting, encouraging, big upping the little white boy. Like he's like, look at this story. This little boy has learned his lesson early. And his family is like, hey, we taught him to be, a compassionate to all people and everything. So on the surface, it's an okay story, but I feel like the reason it's getting a lot of traction is because of the imagery of the black boy, in his rightful place in service to the white boy. I don't know. I haven't read the story. Have you? Am I wrong? I'm just going by the headlines. That's how I did click it a couple days ago, but I didn't read it because I was trying to figure out who the autistic boy was. This is coming off of the Grio. Did I say that already? So I know at least one of those children was black. I'm thinking German teenagers held like slaves in Romania. And it's been a couple days since I looked at that story. I was thinking it was one thing, but then when I looked at the story, it was something else. I can't remember now. Trump is killing net neutrality. So why aren't black leaders speaking up? When I read that, I was like, I wish that black organizations, and I don't know a lot about black organizations, but I feel like I wish that we were like more like informed and engaged and like advocating on behalf of black folks. And maybe they are, but sometimes I just feel like they aren't. Like I don't know, like I just feel like where are we? Where are we at? Where's the organizations at? What are they doing? I probably need to get educated. They need Malama as president. Why did the South Africans not take over the land and wealth of those whites and Asians? They're still being exploited. Most of the organizations want white approval. Yeah, most of the organizations and get money from white folks, and it's like it's the system that we're a part of. It's I mean, among other things, and it's the way we've been trained and oriented. It's a lot. God help us to untangle this. Do y'all have an answer? Well, come on and share it with us. Let's get this show on the road. It's been 500 years. It's time. Is the show already on the road and we just not acknowledging it? The show's already on the road. The Kenyan school that was once a British detention camp. I think it was a British detention camp for the Mau Mau. I'm really interested in the Mau Mau. I want to, is it facing Mount Kenya? There's some book where they talk, it's not, I think the reason I was brought water is because my voice sounds strange. But I actually think my voice does sound better, doesn't it? I think it's like in my head, like not in my mind, but like I think it's something going on in my like sinuses, like in my head. But I don't know. Dang, it's 4 o'clock. Um, Fairphone 3 is the ethical smartphone you might actually buy. So I told y'all my phone. Now, when this little thing fell off the bottom here, I don't even know if you can tell, but there was like a black panel that used to go across the bottom here, and that fell off probably about a month ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, my phone is really dead now, and I was like really, really freaking out. But then now I still haven't had any problems with it. I don't know how long I've had this phone. I feel like I've had this phone for about 4 or 5 years. But there's a black company called Figgers, Figgers, that I want to get my next phone from. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I started researching them. And there's a channel on YouTube. Is it called The Black Supremacy? What is the channel called? Where he does like reviews of black things. It's something. And so he did let me see if I can find them. Because I wanted to shout his channel out because he introduced me to this. No, he didn't introduce me to he didn't introduce me to Figures, but when I went to the review, he had a channel, and I've only watched one other video of his, but I did buy another product based on his recommendation, and he like does unboxings of like black owned companies and stuff. And I was like, I really, really feel like I need to like just sit and watch all of his videos. It's called My Black Universe. MYBLACK, that's one word, capital M, capital B. And then the next word is UNIV3RS3, My Black Universe. But yeah, y'all go check him out. Let me see what some of the things are that he's reviewing on his channel. Get her a Samsung, Ayafo. Figures, Figgers. This is what I think it is. And I definitely don't want any daggone Samsung. I mean, I've been keeping my eye open because there's been a couple new Blackberries that have come out. And that's what I was planning to get for my next phone. But I was kind of conflicted. Figures. That's the phone company. I just said Figures in the note. That's not gonna. Yeah, it's Figures. No, Figures, and I think I'm pronouncing it right. And Figures Communication they offer services too, so you can get your whatever phone you have. Company. That's supposed to be company, not company. No, they didn't stop making Blackberries. Almost though. It's like down to a trickle. But no, I've been keeping my and that was the one I thought that I was gonna get next, but um I don't know. I feel like it's there's a black owned phone company out there. So how am I going? The reason why BlackBerry is still there is black owned communications company. Okay. Hit one if you can hear me. I think I got disconnected or whatever. Can anybody hear me out there? Okay. One. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What exactly is his name? Oh, that's really his name. Yeah, his Freddie Figures. Figgers. And so anyway, there's this Fairphone 3 is an ethical smartphone. I don't know what that means because then there's like this whole thing with like phones and tablets and how they're connected with exploiting Africa and exploiting African children, and like I don't really know what the connection is, but I just uh so yeah, Fairphone, but Figures. I'm going for Figures, and let me tell y'all the name of this other thing. I just shut it down, but My Black Universe. Go check them out too, because I need to watch they whole timeline. I don't like the name of the community. Figures too close to. Oh, now that's funny because I didn't even think about it. Because the phone he has out now is a Figures 3, and I was like, oh, 3, that's my favorite number. It must mean nothing. Okay, so it's my. Yeah, check them out. All right, let me keep it moving. Researchers use great graphene lined clothes to deter mosquitoes. I don't know what graphene is, but it deters mosquitoes. That story is coming off of Engadget.com. No, yeah, that story is coming off of Engadget.com too. White news anchor insults black co-host by saying, "It looks like you." We talked. AFC is testing. I already told you I'm not really for all of that. Like I feel like these big corporations that ain't about skit ain't for health or wholeness. I'm gonna go like advertise them and support getting food from them. Eh. Amazon fires. Angola and DR Congo have more blazes. So this article, which is coming off of BBC.co, is saying that, oh, we're all like, oh my gosh, the Amazon, which I think is kind of the whole thing that's unfolded there. I feel like it's some BS, and it's been unfolding for a while. It's not something that just happened last week or the week before. It's been unfolding for a while, and it's all kinds of BS throughout the world. But they're saying that in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo, they have even more fires, but that's not getting a lot of attention. That's not getting a lot of news. BBC.co. Police. Hispanic parent slapped with hate crime charge after kidnapping, assaulting Black boy caught hiding in daughter's closet. Now that story kind of tripped me off. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. That story kind of tripped me out because I feel like if there was a boy, and I can see how a parent would like really trip out. How you could like really like flip out to have like some male child or girl child's room. Now I don't know if it was like a hate. Like I was first of all, my thing was, oh, they can figure out it's a hate crime when it's Hispanic people against Black people, but when it's a white person who's like, I hate Black people, I'm going to kill Black people, I'm going in right now to shoot and kill Black people. Then they put down their phone, record, and they stream it. Then they go shoot and kill Black people. And then the people are like, we don't know if it was a hate crime or not. We have to figure out his motive. It's like he just said then. So they can, all the rainforest now, says Sonia, sees unnatural fires. Um, so they can figure out it's a hate crime when it's Hispanic folks against Black folks, but they can't figure out it's a hate crime when it's white folks. And then I was further confused because I'm like, the child was in their child's closet. Some people might have beat him and kill him. I mean, I'm just saying that's kind of like a very volatile situation. Anything is liable to happen. I didn't read the story, so I don't really know the details. Could serenading mosquitoes help stop the spread of malaria? That story is coming off of BBC.co. Somali Americans can buy homes. Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
Good. Somali Americans can buy homes without going to the bank in Minneapolis thanks to collective investment. Can y'all hear Bella's little feet pitter 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 pitter, and she jumping up? She's all happy to see him. Okay. I was thinking about susus and like how people get together, and then I guess there's a whole and how people in certain communities who are unbanked get together and create. I got her a leash. Yeah, you see it. You see her leash right there.
Oh no.
You can get it. You're not in the camera.
Oh yeah. I was just trying to keep it down while you recording.
Yeah, I'm live though. Sorry.
Sorry. I was just trying to keep it down.
Thank you. Yeah. Ray just took Bella out. So just this whole collective. Did I say conflictive? Collective investment. So it's kind of like when I first got introduced to a susu, it was when I was working at a Black credit union, and it's like the idea. It's kind of like if you've ever worked any place, that's where I've seen it, where people will have a birthday club, and like every month they'll come around and they'll be like, "Hey, put $1 in the pot." And then, every month they buy a cake for everybody whose birthday is that month, or you put money in the pot, and then they might buy a gift for somebody who. So it's like the money theoretically circulates around, like the $20 that you end up putting in, you're gonna end up getting a gift that's worth $20 at some point, and then everybody else basically, like, the money circulates. So like in the susu, you put in $20 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, and then one person gets it this month and they get to use it, then they pay back into the susu, but everybody else continues to pay, and then the next month somebody else is able to draw out a whole bunch of money, and it's like you collectively you put your collectively put your money together, and everybody can benefit from it. And people have been doing it like it's a common thing in Africa and the Caribbean, and usually it's like among people who know each other or have some kind of relationship, unlike a bank where we don't really, a lot of times we don't really know. You just go to the bank because it's like it's a Chase Bank, or my bank is called Kimball, which seems kind of, but it's a credit union. But you don't know. I don't know them people. They don't know me. But in a susu, y'all usually know each other and have a relationship and trust each other. So anyway, that's what I thought of when I saw that story. That story is coming off of Mogulum.com, but you can probably find it other places because I've heard people kind of talking about it. Most humiliating experience of my life. Raleigh homeowner, Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't know how to pronounce it. Um, Raleigh homeowner handcuffed, arrested after home security false alarm. That's coming off of Mogulum.com too. Corey Coco Golf says overnight fame led to big scare. We change our schedule every day. So I don't really know what happened. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. She's a tennis player, Coco. I don't know what happened. You need to quit it. Wendy Williams fans catch her slipping when she claims to have gone makeup free. You need to quit it. You ain't, you got, that's like when Alicia Keys was saying she was doing no makeup, and people are like, clearly she's wearing makeup. She may not be wearing a full face, but she is wearing makeup. Twitter bangs on anti-reparations Obama for buying $15 million mansion in Martha's Vineyard. I guess he figured he don't need no reparations. He got money to buy a $15 million mansion. Did he buy it in cash or did he finance it through the bank? How I mean, doesn't matter to me. I guess I was just curious. Yeah, Alicia really needs makeup. She's kind of like the way she looks to me is like from some angles I'm like, oh, but then from some angles I'm like, oh, she's kind of got like she's not like a classic beauty to me in any way. I'm not saying she's ugly, but she just, she has some angles where she looks better to me than others. Yeah. Why so many U.S. mass shootings arrest suddenly? Somebody was saying that the reason they're doing these is because they have these fake events where they're like, oh my gosh, there's a mass shooting. And some people think that a lot of these mass shootings are fake just so that people can get scared and nervous. And then we'll be like, protect us, please, government, save us. And the government is like, we're coming in with our tanks and our weapons to protect you. And we're like, thank you. And then before we realize that they've turned it on us, but we already invited them in and we didn't know. But they would have these fake crisis events and crisis actors, and they started getting caught. And then Ayapo was saying the reason that they're doing all of these, like, we caught this person before they committed a crime, is because you don't have to worry about the actors. Like, you might see me on a news story, from 3 years ago, and I'm like, oh, I got shot at this mass shooting. And then, you'll see me, acting in another event. And I'll be like, oh, my child got shot at school. And people will be like, wait, that's the same person who said she got shot. Did she really get shot? Or is it like, is she an actor? So that when you foil the event before it happens, you don't have to worry about the staff, like the actors being seen out there. You can just get the criminal, and you don't have to worry about the actors. um so I didn't read the article that's coming off the BBC. I don't know. College student investigated after sending racist message to local bar. That's coming off of thegrio.com. Mother's call to police leads to arrest of white man who sprayed her 14-year-old black son with water hose. I'm kind of surprised that the white man was arrested. Am I jaded? Am I crazy? I don't know what the deal is. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. So a black mother, maybe the mother was white and she called the police and her son was biracial or black. And then the man was, I don't know what happened. I don't know. But anyway, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I'm kind of, again, I'm surprised the white man got arrested. Yeah. The African American who moved to Ghana to escape U.S. racism. That's coming off of the BBC. Would you ever move out of the country? Do you feel like this is your home? You feel like you're a citizen? You feel invested here? I mean, I'm just wondering. Mariah and Alicia have white mothers as compared to Mia, who has a black mother. You can hear the difference. I don't even know who Tamia is. Oh, Tamara T and Tamara, the twins. Now that's interesting too, because those the twins. One of them is married to a black guy. He's a light skinned black guy, but she's a light skinned black woman or biracial woman. And then the other twin is married to a white man. No, this does not feel like home after 400 years. Yeah, I don't think it'll ever feel like home, but I just feel like we're nomads. Do we have any place in the world that's home? I mean, some people do say that they go to Africa and they feel like they're home, that they go ever and they really have a feeling of home. Now, you can look up video, you can watch people on YouTube who have been living someplace for 20, 30 years and they really feeling good about it. And I think that's good. I mean, that's kind of hopeful. I've never been to the African continent. I told y'all somebody was advertising the trip and I thought it was $1,500 flight included airfare. I'm like, I am dropping everything and I am going on that trip. I don't care. But then it was like $1,500 plus you got it. So that's like $3,000, which I'm not saying that's a bad price, but 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. What? I would have been there. Oh, Tamia, the singer, she can throw down. Study: tweets by black folks 1.5 times more likely to be flagged as offensive by algorithms used to detect hate speech. I remember when I was moderating, when I was like more involved with YouTube and I was like moderating stuff, and the algorithm would ask me questions like I told y'all this, somebody would be like, Black women are beautiful. And the algorithm would be like, do you want to let this comment go by? And I'm like, what's wrong with this? Like, it was like the stuff that it was like, um, the stuff that was like flagging. I was like, what in the world? So I don't trust their algorithms. They make their algorithms. They make them for everything of supremacy or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it white supremacy. I just don't have another word for it. So it says sign your seeds during during Jim Crow. Whites were never around, but we were warned of them. Our black space was a piece of heaven compared to this mess today. I can imagine, because I feel like I grew up in Detroit, and it was like a little piece of heaven. And Detroit is, but like, yeah, I mean, like being around black folks, like basically all the time, especially when you around like conscious black folks. And I'm like, shoot, that is heaven. It ain't nothing better than that. It's nothing better than being around some black folks who love black folks and are for black folks and are trying to progress and grow for black folks. I mean, I tell you, woo! Yeah, I heard to me. I just don't remember the name. Maybe I might have to look her up. Nashville father's attempt to address daughter's dress code violation ends with him in a chokehold. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star SSDD. It's some bullshit. Watch opinion. It's time to boycott Comcast and anyone boycott. I mean, wait, hold on one second. This is coming off of the Grio. And I was complaining about the Grio, they headlines a minute ago. Watch, and this is some kind of video. Opinion. It's time to boycott Comcast and anyone. It's time to boycott Comcast and anyone blocking black economic power. Well, you gonna boycott everybody. Who you not gonna boycott? I it's coming. I'm not gonna watch it. But I was just like, that is, if that's not some foolishness, it's been time to boycott. I don't even know if it's like, if I already said this. I don't even believe in boycott. I just try not to do business. I try not to do business with anybody. And I figure everybody that I do business with is a white supremacist, whether I've heard of it or not, whether they've come out to my face or somebody else's face and have to know. I just get it as much as possible circulated around black folks. Black folks are white supremacists too, because we grew up in the same system. We've been trained in the same way. We see the same images of ourselves on. We got the same education telling us that black folks ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we might be a little better because we might know some black folks and have countered it a little bit, but we got issues too. Aretha Franklin reportedly left $1 million in uncashed checks at the time of her death. That's coming off of AtlantaBlackStar.com. $1 million in uncashed checks. Scientists bioprint living tissue in a matter of seconds. That's coming off of Engadget.com. What is a bioprint? Like they can just take some of your skin and then they can tell, oh, that's Angela. What is that? I didn't even read that. Migrant workers exploited in Japan. That's the model, that's the template, exploiting desperate people, creating desperate people, and then exploiting their desperation. I don't really know specifically what's going on in Japan. That's coming off of BBC.co. Instagram influencers. Have we stopped believing? That's coming off of BBC. Did we ever believe? Actually, that was an interesting article. I read it a couple of days ago and I can't remember. Zimbabwe. Is it worse off than under former President Mugabe? That's coming off of the BBC.co. I feel like the BBC don't care about what kind of article is it? Is it worse off? They care. They ask. Changing places. Why countries decide to move their capitals. That's coming off of BBC too. LA policeman who said snipers shot him made it up. Now this fool, I don't want to call him a fool. This fool he used a knife and he cut holes in his shirt, and then he called in. He said it's sniper fire. So he didn't even shoot himself. He just cut holes in his shirt. Did y'all hear the story? I skimmed it a couple days ago. I'm like, this just sounds foolish to me. I don't understand. I don't know people. I think he went it for attention. Not shot. It just seems so flimsy and so crazy, and like he's attention seeking. What is it about? What does it mean? I don't understand. We're stuck somewhat until we get our own media conglomerates. Yeah, I don't know if we need. I mean, but I feel like I know I don't believe them. I mean, I believe it for what it is, and I feel like I have to filter it, not as much as I have to stay as conscious as I can and filter as much as I can, to minimize the white supremacist BS that I'm inhaling, that I'm ingesting, that I'm absorbing without even being conscious of it. A lot of times that stuff is subtle. When that guy was working with that woman, he's like, we're friends and everything. They did the thing on the Zoom. And she said, kind of like you. Has she been holding it in for like months and years and been wanting to say it and it just slipped out? Did she feel like they were just cool and she could say it and it wouldn't be no thing? Is it just like is it like they want to say, so today you look like a gorilla boo? Like, I know I'm looping back to that other story, but it's just on my mind. 2 million gallons of sewage water spill out of water crisis plagued Flint, Michigan. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. More water going on in Flint. Mallorca aircraft collide in midair, killing at least 7. That's coming off of BBC. Hong Kong police fire gun and use water cannon on protesters. So that's what's going on. China, Hong Kong, that whole thing over there. Freedman says he relied on Mother God while in prison for crime he didn't commit. That's coming off thegrio.com. Prayers out to him and bless his mama. I have a cousin who's in jail. I don't know. He had an estranged relationship with his dad. His dad passed away. I was crazy about his daddy. He had a strange, he had issues from what I can gather. But then he was like a wild child. So his father might have had issues because his father was like, get it together. So I don't really know. But I know his mama is there for him. To me, that's what it looks like. I don't know from his experience. But he's been in jail 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I feel like his mama is there for him. The future of food, why farming is moving indoors. That's coming off of BBC. Why is farming moving indoors? How are you farming without the sun? I don't understand. Even though I do grow sprouts, but I'm just saying, I need to do another batch of sprouts. I hit stop. But now it's starting to cool down again. I didn't want to. One time I had moldy sprouts when I used to sprout all the time, and I didn't sprout for like 15, 20 years. So I was like nervous that that was going to happen. So I stopped before when the humidity started going. But I'm going to go back to my sprouting. Google's internal community guidelines discourage political discussion. That's coming off of Engadget.com. Russia says isotope in doctor's tissue is caused by diet, not an accident. Now, y'all know there was this explosion in Russia. Some people say it looked like it was like a nuclear explosion. They think it was a nuclear explosion. I guess apparently from the headlines, some of the doctor's tissue has some isotope in it. And they like, that's not from, it's not a nuclear explosion. See, what had happened was, is that them doctors like to eat nuclear food. So that's why they have the isotopes in their tissue. That's coming off of yahoo.com. Americans are waiting 3 years to replace their phone, studies find. 3 years is supposed to be a long time, of like the sense that you got from the story. How long do you keep your phone before you replace it? You get like a new one every 8 months when something new and exciting comes out. Y'all can tell I'm going to ride this thing until the wheels fall off. When all of the little buttons fall off, I'll probably still be like, that's the G right there. That's the number 7. I don't know. Because when this thing fell off, I was like, I told you. So, shoot. And I've been using it after that. I had no problems with it. Nukes, animals too. For humans, the mother is more essential than the father for development. She was given a raise to say that. Them white folks, are high fiving each other down after that gorilla comment. The black guy had no idea. They like, I dare you. If you do this, girl, this is all Sonya sees. Sonya's the only one talking. To me, y'all might be talking amongst yourselves, but I don't know. But if you do that, we gonna give you a raise, probably. American, okay, that's coming off of Engadget.com. Riot that Americans are waiting 3 years to replace their phones. Riot Games settles class action lawsuit over sexist culture. What's Riot Games? Maybe that's a rap group. I don't even know why that's in my thing. But maybe sexist culture. I don't know. Bug cell location data prompts Denmark to review 10,000 court cases. So they were using this cell data like, we know you committed the crime because we triangulated the data on your phone and you were in the area. Why were you in that area? And the person's like, I don't know. I wasn't in the area. And they're like, liar, you're going to jail, right? And so now they find out that the cell location data was bugged. It wasn't working right. So now they're reviewing 10,000 cases. I'm surprised they're reviewing 10,000 cases. I don't know how stuff works in Denmark, but I work my little track phone to death before I upgrade it. That's what I need to get, maybe. No, I need to get the black-owned phone. So anyway, that's what's going on in Denmark. That's Engadget.com. All of this, yeah. The way that they find people guilty and they got the evidence is faulty. In Missouri, thought she had water in her ear, but it was actually a venomous spider, a brown recluse. That story is coming off of Google, but it was all over the place, I think. Air Force pilots have to go as far away as UK for training after flood destroyed simulators in Nebraska. Oh, I'm starting to get hungry. White man kills his biracial daughter, turns himself in. That's the Grio.com. Again, prayers out to the people. The Instagram user says she's over $5,000 in debt after traveling to the US just to make her followers jealous. Foolishness. She wanted to have good pictures to put on Instagram, so she went on a trip and went $5,000 in debt to make the people who follow her on Instagram jealous. Foolishness. That's coming off of Feed Proxy Google. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg underwent radiation therapy as treatment for a cancerous tumor. I remember a couple years ago, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whatever her name is, she was like, now that Trump is in office, I am not going to retire because if I retire, he's going to get to choose my replacement. So I'm about to hire me a personal trainer and I'm going to work out. I'm going to stay healthy. I am going. So I'm like, I don't know. It says that she underwent radiation therapy. Did she beat it? I mean, because she had said, a few years ago, as long as Trump was in office, sure, she like, my ass ain't dying. I ain't retiring. I'm staying healthy. for the cause, the anti-Trump cause. Somebody was talking about the fact that she ain't never had a black law clerk, or like just how janky she is. That story is coming off of Google, but you could probably find that anywhere. A former New York Times staffer quietly left the paper after revealing he had solicited charitable donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the thing that was interesting, this is coming off of Google as well. I think that was a black person because the charity he was soliciting money from was in Google, was in Harlem, if I remember correctly from skimming the article. And it's like, I wonder how many of these people solicit money and they don't get fired or are not forced to quietly leave and then get publicly, a news story done about their quiet departure. Jeffrey Epstein case, France launches rape inquiry. I guess he had a home in France, and I think they're saying that he was probably over there, raping and harassing and being vile, demonish, demon-like, to girls and children over in The Naked White Killer. Did you see that mess? No, I didn't see that. Brown recluse, the most dangerous spider. I know somebody who got bit by a brown recluse in Mississippi, and they were like missing for a while. I didn't know what had happened. When I saw them, I'm like, I ain't seen you for a while. What happened? They like, I got bit by a brown recluse. I'm like, I don't understand. They like, it's a spider. I'm like, a spider? You were sick like that? And they were like, yeah. And that I'm like, I don't know what it looks like. Can I get bit by it? It was stressful. I was like, this is awful, awful, awful. I tell you, just awful. Oh my God, I've been on here for too long. Annapolis Housing Authority responds to federal lawsuit, argues that poor conditions aren't exclusive to Black tenants, so there's no discrimination. This is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. They like, our skit is janky for everybody. So Black, white, everybody alike can come get this bad, messed up housing situation at the Annapolis Housing Authority, but they're not dealing with the fact that the majority of the people, I imagine, who are affected are Black. Anyway, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Detroit police facing oversight officials software. It's techno racism because y'all know the facial recognition software is unfair to us. Y'all know that. That's a whole nother story. That's coming off Atlanta Black Comfortable. 911 audio release of white woman reporting Black man minding his own business, looking suspiciously at her. This is in Detroit. Well, not in Detroit. It's a suburb right outside of Detroit. And he was making her feel uncomfortable. So she got the cops and said, I feel uncomfortable. And then the cops sent someone out. We'll send someone right out, ma'am. And then they were harassing the man because he was trying to find a parking space. They weren't harassing him because of that. They were harassing him because they were Black, because he was Black and they're white and they're terrorists. And that's what they do. Actress who used Billboard to get a job with Tyler Perry lands role on his new show. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. You that story, right? April Ryan remains silent as bodyguard charged with assault for forcibly removing journalists from private speaking. Killer Mike, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Killer Mike believes Jay-Z can help Colin Kaepernick with new NFL deal. Killer Mike, that story is coming off of the Atlanta Black Star. I'm not surprised. The level of like sophistication and analysis to me, even though I feel like some people are trying to be progressive, I'm like, it's a mess out here. It's a mess in here to me. That's just me. Big Sean donates new $100,000 studio to the Boys and Girls Club of Detroit in his old neighborhood. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Jennifer Williams, flattered by Tammy Roman rap, denies making $12,000 an episode. Killer Mike done murdered his credibility. Connecticut cop pistol whips Black teen he thought was reaching for a gun. The video tells a different story. So he didn't think he was reaching a gun. Is that the different story that the video tells? That's a headline from Atlanta Black Star. And once again, I haven't read the article, but I'm annoyed by the headline. It needs to say he lies and the video proves he's a lying ass. Now, I haven't read the article, but I feel like, anyway, attorneys, or they should have had some quotes in there. Attorneys to argue self-defense over stand your ground as trial begins for white Florida man accused of killing black man over handicapped parking spot. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star as well. Illinois prison bans educational program and 200 books to Black Power, Freedom, and Justice. The prison, like, we don't want people, these black people reading about Black Power, Freedom, and Justice. Oh, heck to the no. We want to read Huckleberry Finn about, is it Nigga Jim? Well, that's what we want them reading about. If they going to read anything, we don't want them read nothing that's progressive or that's going to enlighten them, anything that's going to like make them more resistant, anything that's going to make them more conscious of what's going on. Oh, no, we disapprove that, which is not a surprise. I mean, it's their system. It's their system of enslavement. Why are they going to like have things going on in their system that's going to contribute to tearing down their system? That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. New York woman knocked to the ground by cops, hospitalized after trying to record arrest of young men. So she was trying to record the arrest. Like, this is an injustice going on. I'm going to record it. And they knocked her down. She in the hospital. She's just trying to be a witness to what's going on and share what's going on so that people will know. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Colin Kaepernick opens up about the incident that sparked his activism, youth camp. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. The Matrix. How have other fourth films fared? You know there's a fourth Matrix coming out. 111-year-old Atlanta resident Willie Mae Hardy looks back on her remarkable life, shares her secret to longevity. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. What do you think her secret is? You know, the stories I like the most, for whatever reason, I like when these old folks be like, I got to be 114 years old by eating all the fried pork I could and smoking all the cigarettes I could and drinking liquor. Lots and lots of liquor. That's what I feel like I'm going to do. If I live to be old and somebody come to interview me, I'm a lie. I don't know if they're lying, but I'm like, I want to just say something like just some crazy messed up stuff. I got to be this old by sleeping with everybody that I could sleep with. And I just want to say, I don't know, maybe I'll be wiser then. So when they come to interview me, I'll actually just be like, I just tried to take good care of myself and be kind to myself and other people. That's the secret to my longevity. But I don't know. I'm always tickled when those old people say that. Jesus, the secret to my longevity is Jesus. I might say that. DNA leads NYPD to man suspected of unprovoked attack that left a black woman with a collapsed lung. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Thank you. How to write an influencer business plan. That's coming off of MaddieJames.com. I don't have a business plan. I'm not really an influencer. Malcolm Gladwell's famous. Malcolm Gladwell's. Hey, Redbird 101. Malcolm Gladwell's famous $10,000 hour rule for mastering a skill isn't holding up in new research. You've heard it before. They say it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. So if you want to learn to master anything, spend 10,000 hours at it and you'll be a master. I didn't know it was Malcolm Gladwell, but when I mentioned it to Ayapo, he's like, Malcolm Gladwell used to say that. Who Malcolm Gladwell? I don't know who that is. I had heard the 10,000 hours, and it's not holding up to research. That's coming off of Google.com. Alyssa Milano revealed she had 2 abortions after getting pregnant while on birth control. Wow, she's on birth control and she got pregnant. She was trying. That's coming off of Google as well. Watch, black teen stands up to racist white man who warns him not to F with the Klan. And the little boy said, tell your Klan to pull up. That's what the teen said. He said, it's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. He said, tell your Klan to pull up. Pull up. What? Let's do this. Because that little boy, that young man thinks that he's going to be there with his crew of 5 and it's going to be mano a mano, man to man, hand to hand, fighting fair. And he figured, hey, I can take it. They don't fight fair. He don't know that though. He's young. He don't understand that. They don't fight fair. Again, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. NRA head Wayne LaPierre made 1.4 million in 2017. Here's what we know and don't know about the finances of America's most public gun rights advocate, who can reportedly change Trump's mind on gun policy with a single phone call. That's coming off of Google as well. New rule requires Phoenix police to document every single time they point guns at citizens. I wonder how many times they point guns at citizens. Are they going to have time they might have to cut down how many times they point guns at people because they're going to have to write a report. They might be spending so much time writing it down that they don't have as much time in the day to point guns at people. It seems like as a trained professional officer whose job is to protect and serve, that the last thing you should be doing, it should be like a rare, unusual case when you pull a gun on a citizen. Black Louisiana judge issues sentence to 3 Alton Sterling protesters for blocking the highway. Oh, y'all protesting, y'all blocking the highway? Okay, I'm going to issue a sentence to y'all 3. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. 13 world leaders ranked by how tall they are. That's coming off of Yahoo. I think that tallness is actually I think you're going to probably find that they're tall. I'm curious. I didn't read the article, but if you read the article, let me know. White man sentenced to jail time after taking it upon himself to physically attack a black man urinating behind a building. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Old white man hurls N-word at black postal employee. Give me the form, you effing Nigger. So you at work, you do it in the you want a form? Okay, I'll get the form. Give me the effing form, you N-word. You're like, dang, that's kind of messed up. So anyway, that's coming off of the Grio.com. SSDD, we're not going to focus on it. White man who allegedly stabbed black woman on subway platform arrested and charged with hate crime. That's coming off the Grio.com. The case against John Ali, who was the FBI's top informant in the Nation of Islam in the 60s. Was he the FBI's top informant in the NOI, Nation of Islam, in the 60s? This story is coming off of the Mogulum.com. Mozambique, so I guess they're making the case, explaining who he is and why they think that's who he was. Mozambique, Russia signed energy security deals. Zimmerman and Darren Wilson take 3. GoFundMe for cop who held Eric Garner in the chokehold reaches more than $100,000. This was a while ago, so I'm sure. And we just know about stuff like GoFundMe because we can go check it. Before there was GoFundMe, they were, they'd be like, you killed a Negro, here, let's give you some money. They was raising money and all kinds of. We just happen to know because GoFundMe is relatively public. Brazilian president says country lacks money to fight Amazon fires. Critics take aim at Senator Cory Booker after he demands federal government to pay attention to Newark water crisis. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Alleged shooter of 6 Philadelphia police officers was a federal informant. That's coming off of Mogulum.com. I don't even have time to go into that story because I gotta go. But that sounds like a whole story to me. Facing death threats, husband of Arkansas woman charged with holding black teens at gunpoint resigns as jail administrator at gunpoint. She was the jail administrator and she was teens at gunpoint. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Facial recognition technology aims to cut passport queue times. That's coming off of BBC. Facial technology, traveling, documenting where you are at all times. That World Wide Web, that net, that system of all of that. That the information is becoming more and more integrated about who you are, where you are, what you believe in, who you're connected to is more and more integrated. The Rock Mirror. Oh, I don't care nothing about that. Stand Your Ground trial begins today for white man charged with killing black men over parking space. That's thegrio.com. I'm genuinely at a loss to explain this one. Black British musician speaks out after being booted from London pizzeria. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. He's genuinely at a loss. He doesn't understand why he was booted from the pizzeria. I don't know why either. I didn't read the article, but I just figure, he got his Negro wake up call because maybe he didn't understand now. Will he get a little more information and he'll be like, oh, now I understand. Lawsuit. White employees laugh as black boy scalp colored with jet black permanent marker. The child had like three lines cut in his head, but they were like swirly or something like that. And the administrators of the school took a black Sharpie and they colored it in, but it made it more black, of course. That's coming off of the Grio. I'm sorry, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. That story is a couple days old. Black Oregon woman score undisclosed settlement in discrimination suit against Airbnb. I told you I stayed at my first Airbnb of last month. Big Sean. Okay, we talked about that. Texas officers on horseback who led handcuffed black man through streets by rope won't face criminal probe. It's shocking, I tell you. It's shocking. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Watch the must-see message for Black America about Byron Allen's multi-million-dollar lawsuit. We were talking about blacks in the media. I couldn't think of his name. I think that's the guy who owns the Weather Channel, who's married to the white woman, Byron Allen. Is that him? That's him. Okay. Why Nigeria has restricted food imports. That's coming off of BBC. Students at Barack Obama Elementary get cheered on by squad of black dads on first day back. I've never heard of nothing like that. I mean, I've heard about it over the last couple of years in the news. I never had dads or parents cheering me back on my first day of school. But I was talking to Ayapo. He said that's how it was for him growing up. Who knew? YouTube originals will be free to watch starting September 24th. Russians use fake Twitter accounts to stoke racial tensions in U.S. and promoted doxing. Is doxing where you share people's addresses and telephone numbers and stuff? Ridiculous for real. If it was a brother, he would be in the ground, as Sonya sees. Oh, they are okay. Yeah. So that story is coming off of moguldom.com. Florida community terrorized by teen threatening to kill black people in KKK video. That's coming off of the Grio. Married couple both die after leaving suicide notes stating they couldn't pay their medical bills. Before buying Russia's S-400s, Turkey made sure to have spare F-16 parts on hand. Black Florida woman, that's coming off of Yahoo. Black Florida woman says slave and slaver game that landed her white boyfriend in jail was a dominatrix thing, not racial. That's Atlanta Black Star. Jay-Z and Will Smith invest in new app that bills itself the Airbnb of camping. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Watch woman caught on camera hurling racial slurs at black woman, ordering her to go back to Harlem. I guess that's the new go back to Africa. Except for Harlem, she probably priced out of Harlem. And she, like a lot of black folks, she might not have the resources to afford Harlem anymore, from what I had heard. Watch white woman caught on camera hurling racial slurs at black woman, ordering her to go back to Harlem after their carts collide in a Florida grocery store. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. SSDD, same stuff, different day. Basketball player Erwin Santos apologizes for racist taunt toward Terrence Jones after being fined. He only apologized after he was fined. Before he was fined, he was like, I said what I said. What you gonna do? Who gonna check me, boo? And they like, we gonna fine you. And he's like, oh, okay, well, then I guess I'm sorry. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Black-owned vegan fine foods company racks up more than $1.2 million in sales. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Pregnant Georgia teen found dead in the woods. Beyonce charged with murder. That's coming off of the Grio. Is global food prayers out to the mother and the child and the family and everything in that case. Is a global food crisis avoidable? I feel like a global food crisis is some BS. That's what I feel like. I feel like these corporations are out here altering stuff, trying to control stuff, trying to make it so the seeds won't reproduce. So the only way you can get food is by paying them. I don't feel like it's a crisis. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I feel like they come in, these white folks, these companies, they jack stuff up, they make you desperate, and then the next thing you know, you see black people asking them for help. But they ain't need no help before they came in and jacked everything up. They wasn't asking for help before then. California man convicted of torture and pot dispensary owner. Telegram silent messages keep your conversations low key. Bill Cosby appeals accuser's testimony. That's coming off the Grio.com. Indians mobilized for resettlement amid warnings over Hindu nationalist occupation of Kashmir. China's official digital currency is nearly ready. They say we won't believe in digital currency, but ours is almost ready. That's coming off of Engadget.com. Mexico City's best green spaces. St. Louis officer who called out white supremacy within the department says she's not afraid of the backlash. That's coming off of the Atlanta Black Star. I bet you it's going to be some backlash. I'm glad she's not afraid of it. You know. All black varsity golf team make history after winning state championship title. That's coming off Atlanta Black Star. We used to have a golf team at my high school. I bet you it was all black because my school was 95% black. But I don't know. India floods, more than 140 dead after torrential rain. Black father prayers out to those people who made their transition. Floods, stuff going on all over the world. Black father reportedly defending a female bartender shot and killed by a white male who made racist comments. Zombie debt, how collection agencies trick you into reviving debts that could have been written off. That's coming off of moguldom.com. Car2Go will raise hourly rates by a third. I guess this is some company where you could like rent a car for an hour or something instead of like a whole day. And now they're really raising their rates. So it's probably not going to be worth it for most people. White woman complains about feeling bashed about slavery during plantation tour, sparks outrage. Y'all saw that. She like, I came to this plantation tour to have fun and think about the good old days. I don't want to hear about black people and their problems. I don't care if they was beat. I'm gonna beat you for trying to ruin my good time at the plantation tour. I don't know what she said, but that's how she sounded in my head. FBI ranks black identity extremists as bigger threat than Al Qaeda white supremacists. That's coming off of moguldom.com. Armed man said he walked into Missouri Walmart to test right to bear arms. That's the guy who came in with the white guy, body armor, all of that. I just thought it was interesting because we all saw that video probably about 5 years ago of the black man walking down the street with the pregnant woman in a right to carry state or open carry state. He had the gun out. About 2 or 3 or 5 police cars surrounded him. They got him on the ground, handcuffed him. I mean, it was like a production. And they had the white guy and they like, hey, why you got a gun? He like, why you asking me questions? Because I got this gun. Boom, 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 pow, pow. What you gonna do? And they were like, okay, sir, have a good day, white man. So it's sort of like, I wish some black person would take the risk of trying to check to see if we have the right to bear arms in this country. I don't wish that, but I'm just saying it seems like it would be a dangerous experiment for us. Document reveals alleged white supremacists are behind nearly all cases of race-based domestic terrorism in 2018. That's coming off of feed Google. U.S. government quietly kills autonomous vehicle committee. Coming off of Engadget. The story of the first ever space wedding, when a woman on Earth married a cardboard cutout of her astronaut boyfriend while he watched on from the International Space Station. 2 black trans women fatally shot in South Carolina in 2 weeks. That's coming off of the Grio.com. Report White House pushback against attempts to include white supremacy in counter terrorism strategy. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Study black men face death by police 1 in 1,000 times. White counterparts comparably killed by officers 1 in 2,000 times. So we're twice as likely to be killed by the cops as white guys, black men, and white men. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. YouTube moderators say the site goes easy on its big stars. That's coming off of Engadget.com. Michael Brown's father demands prosecutor reopen Ferguson investigation coming off of the Grio. Police violence deemed leading cause of death in men. Black men fare worse. That's coming off of the Grio.com. Walmart pulls displays for violent media after El Paso shooting. Latest safe street sites open as Baltimore reaches 200 homicides on ceasefire weekend. Photo goes viral of young black kids praying before the first day of school. That's the Rio.com. Typhoon Lakima makes landfall in China. Dang, this is from August 9th. It's been so long. Okay, I'm not going to keep going backwards because it's been like over a month since I was here. So I probably have to go back like forever. So thank you so much for being here. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. What are you looking forward to? What are you excited about? What are you looking forward for yourself? What are you looking forward to for yourself personally, for your family, for your community, for Black folks? What's the vision? What's the vision? What are we looking forward to? What are we excited about? Huh? Drop that in the comment without the horrors of slavery. Oh, you're welcome, Sonia. I got Thursdays off, so I don't know. I'm just trying to get my life together. I'm doing a little bit more writing, so I want to but anyway, I'm trying, everybody's trying to get their life together. So, but it's good to be here. It was good to be here. It was so good to spend this time with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of those other things. I guess comment, I guess subscribe. Comment because I like the comments, even though it may take me a long time to get back. I like the conversation. I like the interaction. I like the relationship. Share, subscribe. I don't know if I care about it. I don't know. But I guess subscribe if you want to know when I come back. I don't know when I'm coming back. I'm looking forward to being cool. It's hot as hell today. 110 degrees. I think it's about 80 degrees here. So yeah, that's what's going on. Today again is the best day ever, and you are what? The greatest. Yes. I made some rice and beans this morning, so I'm gonna go have some of that. Yeah. Let me get the volume up on this. I'm anticipating it already. I don't know why I want to show you this. Hey. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Who we gonna be if you ain't you? Who we gonna be if we ain't we? Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Peace. You like the choreography? I just made that up on the spot. I've been watching the Norm Armani. I watched that. I was watching a whole bunch of like people watching the video a couple weeks ago. But yesterday or the day before at work, it came on the radio, and I actually knew the song. What is it called? Let me be your motivation. Now I can't even remember how it goes. But speaking of choreography, I couldn't even figure out her mess. I'm like, what is all of this? Peace. Oh, wait. Peace. Thank you. Be blessed and be a blessing.